You know, the year is winding down, but there were several impactful weather events for us here in the Pacific Northwest.
The KOIN 6 weather team takes you on a journey back in time through Portland's wild weather of 2023.
2023 was not an easy year for us forecasters. Yes, we saw the typical fog and rain that we would expect in the Pacific Northwest, but we also saw our fair share of excessive heat, snow, and even tornadoes.
Whoa!
So sure enough, October 11th comes along. We're expecting thunderstorms, and all the right ingredients were there that day to develop an EF0 tornado in the small town of La Center, Washington.
You'll recall that an EF0 tornado is the weakest category of tornado. Winds of 65 to 85 miles per hour are seen in this category. While this is the weakest, it is rare for Washington and Oregon. On average, Oregon and Washington typically only see 3 tornadoes each on an average year. And the La Center tornado wasn't the only tornadic activity we saw. Later in the month of October, the Portland metro area had several sightings of funnel clouds.
Now, detecting something like that on radar is really hard for us to do as meteorologists. They're so small and honestly really hard to predict ahead of time. That's why in the Pacific Northwest, it's pretty rare to get a tornado warning ahead of time.
Keeping on the theme of thunderstorms, the lightning seen this year was unreal. The Oregon State Fair had a show-stopping performance in Salem. Lightning, heavy rain, and even a rainbow appeared in early September. Lightning could also be seen lighting up the sky several times over downtown Portland this year.
What I remember most about the weather of 2023 was just how early in the season it was so dry and so warm.
And that pattern continued late in the summer too. Portland saw its hottest August on record with a mean average temperature of 75.4 degrees. While Jamie didn't let the summer heat slow her volleyball game down, like many of us who soaked up the sun, it was a best case scenario when feeling the heat.
The great thing was, even with our warm summer, that didn't lead to those terrible fires.
One weather event that stands out to me is our February snowstorm that we got this year. Incredible snowstorm because it came, after the new year, and it came down all at once over a span of like a day and a half, and we broke records.
That record being the second highest daily snowfall in Portland. And Portland's snow was more than Denver, New York City, and Detroit's February totals combined. Not to mention the record-breaking cold that came along with our snow. You might also remember the not so pleasant times with this storm.
This is the Hawthorne Bridge. We saw a lot of cars stuck on the interstate for 8+ hours. It was tough. Folks were trying to get home after work. They would leave early, and then we just saw that snow hammering down around all the Portland metro area. So that was an incredible snowstorm.
And maybe a snowstorm that we hope to never repeat. But as we exit 2023, now is the time that we have to prepare for the potentially wild weather of 2024.
Man, we were just talking about how that was that snowstorm. I had to put on my yak tracks and my snow boots and my backpack and march my way down to Macadam. Travis picked me up to get into work a couple mornings. Oh man, it was a wild ride.
Yeah, it definitely was quite memorable because it just kept coming and coming. Once it started, it didn't seem like it was ever going to stop.
It was just so tough because it really impacted the Portland metro area. Sometimes these storms are further down the valley, or up to Vancouver, up in the hills. We saw this messy storm that really caused so many issues for a good chunk of people here in the city.
I mean,
trying to get home.
We were beating East Coast cities for totals.
Yes.
Last year. That's when we got a lot of snow.
Yeah, when we have more snow here than they have in Buffalo, New York, then that's a big snowstorm.
Yeah. So hopefully we don't see that again this year. And it has been rather quiet in terms of snowfall, even up in the mountains for us, which is